Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, May 17th. Hey, we've got our usual guys joining us. We got Tom, Lee, Gentry, and Tracy going to spit knowledge on their bodies of water that they represent. And we will be right back with what the guys have to say. Hey, we're down here in Orange, Texas, checking in with Tom Ott. Going to talk a little bit of fishing on Lake Gunnersville. Tom, what's going on the big lake?
Well, I tell you, Dano, it's just wide open up here. I mean, it's just crazy. We got the Toyota boys in town, and that tournament seems to be kicking off pretty good. We got some leaders with 28 pounds. Big shout out to my partner, Josh, for, holding down fifth spot on that first day. Hope he finishes it off. But anyway, the fish are just going nuts. So, I mean, you can really, again, catch them from 2 feet to 20 foot right now. As far as big fish go, there's still a lot of good size fish up shallow. We were catching some pre-spawners. We were catching a lot of post spawners in the last week or so. But we've had 100 fish days here the last 2 weekends. We've caught over 100 fish each day, and it was just absolutely amazing. But the deal was kind of bouncing around. We would play a little bit of, when nobody was on the deeper stuff, we would go to the deep stuff. When people started migrating to the ledges, we would kind of hug back into the shallow water, and that just seemed to work out for us. I mean, we were able to catch quite a few fish. That shad spawn is starting to dwindle, but in some areas it's still pretty strong. So, I mean, if you can get out there with a crankbait, smaller crankbait, or even a larger crankbait, spinner bait, chatterbait, anything like that, and take advantage of that early morning shad spawn bite, that's been kind of a staple as well. But it's just really, really strong. The brim are on bed good. So you got a lot of action around those brim beds, the hard bottom spots, that kind of deal. So, it's just time to get your rod and reel, go out there and catch you up some Lake Gunnersville largemouth. I mean, it's crazy right now, guys. I've never seen as many 2 to 3 pound fish on a lake, and especially not Gunnersville, in many, many years.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about crappie. I know you brought up the brim bite. Those beds are probably getting pretty full about now. What's going on with the crappie?
The crappie again have kind of migrated out to those creek edges. I am seeing some on those creek edges, especially on stumps, in that maybe 10 to 15-foot water, just out there scanning the ledges and things like that. And I've run across some pretty big schools, just sitting on stumps. So, that's the deal right now. Either that or maybe getting off in, in some of the backwaters that's got some stumps and doing some spider rigging or something along those lines. I'm sure you could catch some still in that 4-foot range, but probably not as easy as they're going to be out, when they're out in the open water on a stump or on a big rock or something along those lines.
Well, Tom, appreciate everything, my friend. We'll talk to you again next week. Hey, we got Lee Pitts. We're going to talk a little bit of Weiss Lake and Neely Henry fishing. Lee, let's go Neely Henry first this week because we always seem to shortchange it. What's going on my river?
Neely Henry right now still got a whole lot of mud coming through it. It's I was down there earlier in the week. They're pulling a lot of water. They're trying to get it on down and get it out of there. But the key on Neely right now is going to be trying to find some cleaner water. A lot of these fish that are still in the pockets and still in some of these bigger creeks, what you're going to have to do is, they've been fighting this current for about 10 days now. We've had a lot of water issues. They're getting it on down. So some of your main river places, unless you've got a pretty good eddy spot, it's going to be hard for those fish to just sit out there and battle that current. I have noticed, even with a spinnerbait bite, and you and I talked about this last week, putting some color in that blade, a gold blade, white blade, even throwing some of those orange little kicker blades on it, something like a fire tiger look. I even doctored up some trailers and put a little more color in it, something they can not only feel but they can kind of see it a little better in that stain. That's something that's looking good. You're your chartreuse crankbaits, blackback, something like that, something that puts off a pretty good thump. They can feel it, and it may help your bite in that stain. But the key is going to be looking for some cleaner water, looking for some of that stuff that they can kind of get in and be protected, and not just have to battle that current all day.
And I right now crappie bite's a little funky. Probably shooting a little bit, but I'm sure that's going to getting a little more sparse. All right, let's go to Weiss Lake. What's going on there?
Weiss, we've had, this last weekend, we had a lot of rain, a lot of wind. I mean, it's probably the roughest that I've ever seen it on Weiss. A lot of, with the current pulling on it too. All week we've been pulling 2 units, and that's what's got Weiss and Neely with all that stain. The Etowah and some of the upper rivers that come into Weiss is just still rolling mud. So it's one of those deals that we're still catching some fish, but you got to get tucked in behind some of these islands. Once again, looking for that cleaner water. The cleaner water has been holding more fish. Some of these protective little pockets and behind some of these islands, some of these little creeks that don't have a lot of fluctuation coming in. The where these fish can just kind of get settled down a little bit. It's the lake's been turned upside down. We've had a lot of traffic on it last week, and it's just now getting back where the fish can position up. The water's slowing down some, and we just need the water to clean up a little bit. Our crappie bite on Weiss, you can still catch some fish, but you've got to get out of that big current. It's hard to get a bait down there in that 12, 14, 16 foot of water right now on the brush piles on the river. So you're getting back in some of the creeks. Some of our deeper docks have got some fish on them too. Key to it, finding some cleaner water, try to get out of some of that really swift current.
Lee, as always, brother, we appreciate everything, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey, we're joined by Tracy Robinson. We're going to spend a little time talking to Logan Martin and Lake. Tracy, what's your 20? Fun, talk Logan Martin.
Well, right now, Logan Martin starting to settle down a little bit from all the rains. It seems like it's raining every day for the past 2 weeks. As soon as we think it's kind of settling down, it rains again. But right now, the water's kind of subsided. It's gotten back down below the piers. You could catch them up in people's backyards around the barbecue grills and the propane gas tanks, earlier in the week. But now it's kind of calmed back down to where it's more of the seawalls and the bank and the original bank bite. Those fish are still up there shallow, the largemouth are. They haven't really made the move back out to any kind of summer pattern. Seeing a lot of 4 and 5 pound fish caught in these local tournaments in the past week on Logan. Most of the bites kind of shallow, swim jigs, spinner baits, even a little bit of top water. Mid lake's been a little bit more stable because of all the rains than the upper river. Lower ends turning on a little bit as well as it starts to clean up. But lot of fish being caught. The seawall bites, a lot of spots are on the seawalls, still kind of some lingering shad spawn still around and some of your shad baits, being able to be fish caught on those around some of the seawalls as well. So the bite's been pretty good. A lot of boats on the water this week. Coosa River Team Trail going on today, Saturday, at Logan Martin. So been a lot of boats, a lot of pressure on the lake this week, but there's fish to be caught.
All right, let's turn our attention to Lay Lake. What are you seeing out of Lay?
Lay's been a lot more stable, not fluctuating as much with the recent rains. Still, that shallow bite's still really good. Swim jig in the grass, any kind of structure, brush, poles, wood in the water, crankbaits, spinner baits, top water early. We've had a lot of cloudy days, so the top water bite's been pretty good on Lay as well. The weights have been pretty good at Lay around the 20 pound range for most of the tournaments in the past week or two. So the bite's really good there. Seeing a few crappie boats out there too as well. They seem to be out in that 8 to 10 foot of water, looking at brush and the timber out there for the crappies. I'm seeing some of the crappie where I would normally see the bass in some of the treetops or trees out there as well. So good bite on Lay shallow.
Tracy, as always, my friend, we appreciate everything that you do helping us put fish in the boat for us and all of our customers and friends. Have a great rest of your day, sir, and we will talk to you again next week, my friend. Hey, we got Gentry Gordy joining us by phone today, so there's going to be a nice, pretty picture of him up here next to me. Gentry, let's start at Lake Martin. What's going on down there?
A lot of action on top water, Dano. It's just a time of year. You got some fry garters. Whopper plopper's been working real good this time of year. It always does at Martin, especially in the morning, like on the seawalls and any kind of like blowdowns and stuff you can find.
Yeah.
And pitching a shaky head or a little jig around some of the docks, especially with the bluegill around them. Really want to keep your eyes peeled for the bluegill.
Okay. I know that a trick worm over there in the shallows when the fry garters were up is a big deal. Is that still going on? That kind of thing? Twitch baits, wacky rigs, stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. I've always got that tied on, especially if I see them, it's so subtle when it lands. It usually don't spook them, especially when they're guarding that fry. Yeah, they'll get that for sure.
I know I always like to use a black one down there. That worm is always really good for that trick worm like that. All right, Gentry, I know that we've talked about the brim beds starting to show up over there. Are you starting to see more of that activity in the shallows over at Jordan?
Yeah, absolutely. And this time of year, your brim beds offshore are not really loaded, but the ones in the back of the pockets up shallower, for some reason, the brim are there, but I haven't been able to find them on the deeper kind of offshore brim beds. But just a green pumpkin swim jig and a wacky rig up there around them for sure.
What about, you talk about swim jigs and stuff like that. What about glide baits or other swim baits in the back there? Just a little bit too much, or will that work?
No, and I do it. I haven't done it this year, but I've done it before. I've just hadn't thought about it. But like a green pumpkin fluke, dip the tail in chartreuse. Yep. That's pretty sneaky. Haven't done the glide bait, but good and well, if there's a big one up there, he'll jump on it, especially a brim color or like a brim pattern glide. That
works. Brother, we appreciate everything. Have a good time out there, and we'll talk to you again soon. Well, that'll wrap up our Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, May the 17th. Thank you to all of you for tuning in every week and for the comments that we receive. We love being able to help share some information like this with you. We know it helps make your day on the water a little bit better. Hey, folks, if you're looking for that boat, come see the team down here. We got Katie, Patrick, and Melissa standing by looking to help you find what you're looking for. Then, of course, if you need to keep your boat running, see Misty in the service department, see Pat and everybody in the parts department. And then, of course, if you're looking for that special tackle item, go see Colin and Jamie upstairs. They'll help you figure out what you're looking for. Thanks for being the best part of Bucks Island, and we will talk to you again next week.